The first time, because this is my first ever Wi-Fi battle. Not really the greatest team, in case you saw, but then again, I don't think his is either. The first time we played, I actually only picked Salamence, because I thought all you had to do was pick the first guy, because I'm used to Pokemon Online, which I've played. And so he was the only thing I picked, and then of course I lost, and we played again. I said, I'm not going to pick Salamence first again. So of course I picked Salamence first again, and he picked Regirock first twice, because Regirock is unfairly good, and doesn't get killed by anything, and even if you taunt it, it has a lot of attack. But anyway, I knew he was going to Toxic, so Steelix was a good switch in. We both got rocks up, and I poisoned him because I was afraid at first he was going to switch into Skarmory, but I poisoned Regirock, and that's good. And I knew he was going to switch, so I try again. But, of course, now he brings Skarmory in because he knew I was going to do that, because he isn't stupid. Now, I'm going to... I didn't know if he was going to Whirlwind or try and set up, but regardless, I try and roar him away before he can Whirlwind me away, which is what happens after he gets Spikes. And that's not good, because I told you that I didn't do the greatest job in team building, so I think I have 2 people weak to rocks, yes, and most of my team... Only 2 of my guys are in the air, so they get hit by Spikes. But he sends in Latias, and I don't know if it's going to be Scarf or Specs. And I try and switch Sigilyph, because I haven't played a whole lot, PO, but from what I did, I was really impressed by Sigilyph. I liked it a lot. And now I realize that Surf, he's not especially defensive as I thought, so Surf is doing a lot. And now I'm just thinking, I was like, well... you could just see it now. You could just see, oh, Ben, how was your first Wi-Fi battle? Oh, it's not that bad. My team just gets absolutely shit on by Surf. So, luckily Salamence can take one. I think it looked like it was Specs, just jumping by the damage. And he attempts to switch in Gastrodon, which I believe is a special wall on my Specsmans. And nope, one-hit kill. But Scizor, which is probably one of those special defensive variants, is going to make me switch out. I could have gone into Magnezone. I didn't know if he was trying to bait me into Magnezone to use Superpower or just U-turn. I needed to know what kind he was, even though I had a pretty good idea. And it looks like he's one of the bulky Swords Dancers. So I'm going to see... What I want to do is hit him with an Earthquake, because I know unless he has Brick Break, which he probably doesn't, he's going to have Roost. So I want to use an Earthquake to get him pretty low, and then have him hit me twice, and then roar him away, because I wanted to get him in, like, Thunderbolt range, or at least what I thought Thunderbolt range was for Magnezone. So I'm going to want to roar him out right now, because even with Swords Dance, Bug Bite isn't doing shit, so he's definitely not max attack. Even for Steelix, like, that's not as much damage as a Scizor should be doing with his Swords Dance, but he gets that critical hit, which is an unfortunate sign of things to come. It didn't really make a difference because Machamp is going to kill me whether or not I had 200 HP because he's Machamp. Again, when I was making this team, I was just kind of getting some guys that I liked and stuff that I kind of knew worked in 5th generation. And yeah, I looked at my team and I noticed I would get I would get dominated by Conkeldurr, but I know Ernie hates that. And I would also get trouble from Machamp, but I know he also hates that. And I was like, you won't bring either of those 2. I have a weakness, but you won't have either of them. And of course, he brings Machamp. And now he sends in Regirock. I think he knew I was going to Psycho. No, actually, he didn't know what Sigilyph did. He just knew that it was annoying. So, luckily for him, he switches in on a Psycho Shift, which isn't bad. I'd rather have that thing poisoned than burned. But now I'm going to take my chance he gave me to set up, because he doesn't know what this thing does. It is my Psycho Shift, Cosmic Power, Roost, and Stored Power. It's really good. Like I said, I used this on Pokemon Online, and I was really impressed by this thing, so I wanted to use it. And although the nickname, I'm not satisfied with that nickname. I'm definitely going to switch that eventually. I'm just going to keep roosting, install him out of Stone Edges if I need to, because I know he doesn't have Explosion, because it's not any good anymore. And unfortunately he gets another critical hit, which is going to delay me from setting up like I want to. And eventually he brings in Scizor, and as soon as he did that, I was just kind of like, why would you do that when you know I have Psycho Shift? So now I could, again, after I burn him or before I burn him, switch into Magnezone. He was just kind of like, I don't know if he forgot that I brought Magnezone. He definitely noticed it when I brought it, because he was like, you gotta be kidding me. Of course you brought Magnezone. Of course I brought Magnezone. There's so many Steel types in this game. I love it. Okay, so anyway, I burn him, and now if I See, I'm kind of like afraid of his team right now because Skarmory and Latios and Regirock are going to be really hard to take down. So I'm going to try and set up right now with Sigilyph and just stop him because I can't do much damage to him right now because he's got Roost, so the burn won't kill him. But I figure with like 4 or so boosts, even if for Cosmic Power, even if he gets up to +6, he'll be burned and I'll have +4s. And Stored Power with 4 Cosmic Powers should be what, 80 or 100 base power, I think. And I'm Psychic type, so that should do a little bit. That was my thought process, and in reality, like I said, I should have gone to Magnezone and let Sigilyph have more health, but as of right now, we're just setting up on each other, and I have a lot of, like, voices in the back of my head that, like, tell me what to do. Like, I have my strategic, analytical side that's telling me, well, you want to think a couple turns ahead and do this. I have my 8-year-old, little 8-year-old in the back of my head, and that's the instinct, like, if I were to switch, like, Walrein in, he'd go, Blizzard, use Blizzard, powerful attack, Ice type, use Blizzard. And I'd go, no, 8-year-old self, that is not smart. Although sometimes you have to listen to that guy, sometimes you have to. Then there's like the voice in the back of my head that's like listening to the music and it's all artistic. It's like, I wonder how this would sound on the piano. And I for the most part, tune that guy out. Get it? Tune that guy out. That was pretty funny. Anyway, so now I'm going to start using Stored Power, and it doesn't do shit. And I'm thinking on this turn, I'm thinking Bullet Punch is going to kill me, and I'm thinking he's going to think that. So now I think it's the time to switch in Magnezone, and I switch it on a Bug Bite, which I looked at him in the chat. I was like, why did you do that? And he thought I was going to Roost, and which is smart, because the reason I didn't Roost is because I was afraid of Bug Bite. But now I've got Magnezone, and I just finish him off with a Thunderbolt. He decides not to go for Bullet Punch. Now, with Machamp, I decide Magnezone has to take one for the team, because Machamp, you have to hit it. You just have to hit it. That's all you can really do. Once he gets to low health, he's useless because he's slow. But I think he's in range of Scarf, Heracross, Close Combat, so I send that in. Not risking anything even if he switches to Skarmory, because I couldn't switch back into Magnezone. But from the looks of it, that Close Combat is going to leave him with, like, in the red, and I don't want to take a Brave Bird. I don't want to risk it, so I go into Walrus Cove, figuring he's going to Roost or Brave Bird, probably Roost because he's, going to be safe. And now, this is not like, Hail Stall Walrein, obviously. This is my Encore Walrein, and I was expecting him to Whirlwind, which he does, and now he's stuck on Roost. And there's not a whole lot I can do right now, except try and stall him out of Roost. So I sub, figuring he'll probably switch. He doesn't want to just sit in there and waste time, even though he could have if he wanted to. And in comes Regirock, and I could have sworn it had less health than this, but, Regirock just, he kind of cheats. Machamp cheats too, but Regirock cheats. See, he misses right there. And I was like, yay, because now I'm going to kill him with, Ice Beam, and I'm going to keep a substitute up. But no, he lives with, like, nothing. And then Stone Edges me, and now, rather than let me trying to get up another sub, so he'll miss Stone Edge, no, he dies. So he's just, in reality, even if I were to lose this game, I can't be mad about it. Regirock does everything perfectly. He even dies at the right time. So now we're coming into the final parts of the game, and I think I'm up 4-3, but this Machamp is going to run train on anything I try to switch in. So what I'm going to do, I don't know what kind it is. Had I known it was a Rest Talker, I might have played this a little differently, but I figure my best bet is to Encore him into Dynamic Punch and then burn him with Sigilyph and try and survive with the ×8 resist. And I said, right now, Ernie, if Machamp does more than 30 damage right now, it's cheating. And of course, what happens? That happens. Really, my only chance now was to set up with Sigilyph, and when that happened, I kind of lost. Spoilers. But really, it's just how close can I make the score now, and I'm going to eventually make it 2-0 in his favor because Heracross misses the Mega Horn on Latias, and that made me mad because I wanted to kill it. But that is going to be it for this. Missed Mega Horn, Q now, Q my Rage, and that's going to be the end of the game. Thanks for watching, guys.